Good now and happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to the Rise Up Morning Show. So glad you're here today for helpful news, commentary, maybe some good jokes. Probably there'll be B+ jokes, words of wisdom, all that stuff, and of course, answers to your crypto questions. My name is Evan. If you've never been here before, then boy, I'm glad to see you. You're in the right place. There's just no good source of crypto information on TikTok, and I'm not saying this one's any better, but we're trying to tell a better story here, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share with you. We've had a big year for crypto, and we've got a big year coming up, and we're going to talk about it on the Rise Up Morning Show. I see Jim's here. Hey, Jim. Good to see you. Good evening to you, or should I say good morning, because, man, I know it's morning there, that's for sure. Shout out to our friend Tori, who started our Warpcast channel and who also has put together some awesome assets that Alex and I are going to be able to shop around and share more about the show with. We had a good couple of meetings yesterday. I honestly haven't touched the crypto news in about 24 hours, though I did hear a really great podcast, Surprise, by Unchained, about Eigenlayer. They've talked a lot about Eigenlayer in the last 2 months, by which I mean they've had 2 interviews with the team, which is a lot for like a journalism show that, you know, doesn't play favorites with protocols and stuff, things like that. But it to me is a marker of how important the protocol is, especially in a scenario where a lot of people are really upset about how they did an airdrop and don't know much more about the protocol beyond the airdrop. So definitely check that out if you're into learning about what's going on in the crypto space. I could summarize it, and I gladly will, but it's a great resource. Unchained, Laura Shin, Eigenlayer. Hey, Angel, good morning. Welcome. And here comes Alex. Alex, my man, what's going on? I'm so glad you're here, too. Oh, yeah, Alex just got here. Did you have something you want to say to him, baby?
TikTok star Christina's Alex, the crocheter's consort?
The crocheter's consort, the very same.
Wow.
It is me, Alex. Christina's husband.
She's blowing up, man. I saw her video yesterday with the outfits, and listen, I think you just need to do one with some of the. It's amazing the stuff she's done, but people want more of that sunflower.
One of those sweaters.
Yeah, Kim wants one too, so we'll have to add it to the list. I think you should make her a landing page.
Also, she's quite beautiful.
Obviously.
She is.
And she's sweet. She's a nice person, which you can't say about everybody on TikTok. But we're not talking about that. But if you made a landing page with like Christina's, you know, whatever, like, and put that, especially that little flowery one on there, I swear to God, she probably can't make more than a handful a year. And I don't know what it would cost, what it would be worth to have her time. She probably wouldn't enjoy that. Like all of a sudden she's become a factory. But
that's why she's not interested, because to make that worth it, she would have to charge several $100s a sweater, because they take
I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
So
it's like a masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, you got to find Christina through Alex, or you know, she probably will be here later, and you got to follow Christina's page, because we try to put you onto stuff while you're early, and let me tell you, you are early to Christina. One day you will know us as Evan and Alex. Isn't that Christina's husband and that guy who's friends with him? That's like who will be in the annals of TikTok history.
Yeah, we'll have our cute little profiles that are like, oh, we're only any kind of popular because of her.
Yeah. And if Kimberly joins, then I'm done too. Honestly, truly. So, you know, while it lasts, that's what we're here for. Unfortunately, you know, we might not be around forever, but crypto probably will be, unless something crazy happens that ends it all. Well, so if you've got questions about cryptocurrency, how to use it, where it's valuable, where it's not, or you just want to, you know, honest opinion about something you've heard about, something you're looking at from 2 people who are pretty experienced, but also still learning just like you, then you're in the right place. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. And I don't know. I told him, Alex, I hadn't seen the news in the last 24 hours. So is there anything going on that you haven't seen that I'm not hip
Yeah,
to.
a lot of horrible shit going on. A lot of
This is crypto. Someone just said, is it true that XLM and Dogecoin merged? I haven't heard that. That
no.
honestly would make me less bullish about Dogecoin, if I'm being honest. Not that XLM doesn't have great tech, but let's see.
No.
You could swap your Stellar for Doge.
Where did you hear that?
Yeah, I'd like to know that too. Alex, if you had to bet, I don't know what the market cap comparison is, but do you think XLM or Doge is going to hit $1 first? Let me see what, what their market cap is.
I think that they're both relatively bland. So probably Doge. It's, at least it is like, at least it just is.
It just is. It's honest about what it purports to be. Stellar, has built some cool products that people definitely use, but the just the flavor of the kind of thing they're building and the narrative they tell about it, and also like just the way the communities have positioned themselves in proximity to some unhelpful information, it makes me really, really, I just don't want to go close to it.
I guess the best way that I could describe it is if you're someone who's like lightly involved or like semi interested or like kind of here or whatever, you've probably known two things. You've known that like Stellar Lumens XLM is a thing, and you probably don't know what it is, because that describes my situation with it. Like, I am very aware that Stellar's been around for a long ass time. I've never once had a reason to look at it, and to this day, despite how many people have like relentlessly shilled it to me, I have no clue why anyone likes it.
So,
is it just because it starts with X and it's in close proximity to the Great Reset narrative nonsense?
Yeah, honestly, I would say yes. So it gives me some. There are a couple things, kind of like Multiverse X, in the sense that the tech is interesting. It is a blockchain that positions itself as one of the ones that's going to enable cross-border transactions, secure money, cheap, decentralized. A narrative we've heard before. I need to see how long they've been around, because it's been a while. Like Max said, I'm not very bullish, generally speaking, as a speculator or like a product investor on 2-cycle coins. And because of how they have talked about what they want to do and the kind of partnerships they've pursued, the development foundation, they have like courted a lot of, people who are concerned about global banking crises that are mostly rumors. Not to say that you shouldn't be concerned about having money in a bank. But it's very much an XRP narrative. Cross-border transactions, using our token or using our tools, using our ecosystem, check out these partnerships. And the nature and flavor of it positions them, it just, I can't tell you how many times I hear about a scam happening, a global financial reset thing.
It's
an X community.
Chilly, scammy, crappy narrative that is just meant to separate gullible, scared people from their money swiftly.
Yeah, that's right. The initial release date was in 2014. So,
it's been around forever.
For a long time, but I don't know.
Look, so just before we get into anything else specific, I've been awake since 4 a.m. because I'm in like quite a tremendous amount of pain in between my shoulder blades, which is a thing that happens to me routinely. And in this instance, about the only position that doesn't make me want to die is to stand here with my neck kind of forward like that, because I can't straighten. Like if I sit and tip, anyway, I can't lay down, I can't sit, and I can't really turn without moving my whole body. So I've been awake for hours. See, like, Luke, give me one reason, just one.
Yeah, I'd love to know why you think, especially why you think it's going to go to the moon.
Yes, support your rocket emojis with some reasoning. So I'm going to apologize because I'm in a terrible mood because everything hurts. Chiropractors not going to help me. It's been like this for years. I have seen every specialist you can imagine. I have been to more doctors than most people. The one that helped me was one physical therapist. But as a different kind of pain. It's all nervous from injuries more than a decade old. It's from years in a helicopter with my head down in a large helmet pushing my spine in a weird way. All kinds of stuff. Anyway, I'm definitely choosing violence today because there's a lot of stuff that's just all over the place. It's like making me horrendously angry for lots of different reasons. And one that like is closer to home that I just keep seeing that I have given up. I haven't given up. That's a strong word. I've almost given up on like trying to get content creators to do a better job with, because in my experience, albeit anecdotal, they just simply don't care. If you make content, okay, wait, I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, as a viewer, for all of you,
back up.
a lot of you guys probably don't need this particular warning because you're here, you watch us, or you've seen us before, and you've heard me ramble and bitch about this before. But you got to demand better from the people who make videos about stuff. I don't care what industry it is, especially if it touches finance, because it's like really easy to look up what the rules are with regards to like what you can and cannot say. And to prove the point, I just Googled one thing, and it wasn't even like a well-crafted Google search. And I immediately found all of the rules that I needed to like what you can and cannot talk about online as a content creator if your content touches finance. And it's really easy.
Read us the list.
Of what? People who are breaking the law on this platform with their videos every day.
I meant the Google list. I was curious to see how well Google got it. And then, I wanted just to hear the list. Because
all I did was Google CFTC guidelines for content creators. It's not hard to find. It's published right there on their website. And I think if you were to go and read that, you would find that pretty much the names of the content creators who make content about crypto. Jim, I know. What do you want from me, man? I live in the US. What do you want from me, dude?
The thing is, at least for most of the TikTok viewing TikTok is a global app, but a lot of the TikTok viewing audience that is consuming crypto content, absolutely based on analytics, is living in the United States or is consuming that content in the United States, which, not to bias the United States, except to say that if you are a consumer in the United States and you are being advised to advertise to whatever, you are governed by these laws. And a content creator who touches you must therefore, suscept themselves to risk or abide by them.
Yeah. And plus, yes, it's true that there are different laws all around the world, but if what you do affects an American citizen, US regulatory agencies have jurisdiction over you and they can come after you. And they will. So it doesn't matter what country you're basing your LLC in. If you're selling to or advertising to or advising illegally American citizens, you're breaking the law. It doesn't matter where you are. So there's another tidbit that really isn't that hard to look up. It's pretty easy to find this information. So I'm just like really upset about it because it's not hard. And I think at best, most people who make content about this are negligent and stupid. And at worst, they're malicious and doing it on purpose because it either enriches themselves or, I don't know, it makes them look cool, I guess. So like little simple things. It's illegal to take a paid promotion and not disclose it as an ad. It doesn't matter what it's for. It could be for chapstick. It doesn't have to be for a financial product. You can break more laws if you do it with financial products, because if you incentivize someone to buy something, you're also breaking the law. If you make content about something and you've ever found the urge or the need to say this isn't financial advice, you're already doing something wrong. And I hate to break it to you, but when you're in court one day because you get randomly swept up in a random cherry pick enforcement act by one of these many regulatory agencies that have jurisdiction over the crime you're committing, and you tell the judge that you said hashtag NFA in your TikTok caption, it's not going to help you. It doesn't mean anything. I can say, this isn't financial advice, but you should 100% put money in this thing because it's definitely going up. Then I broke the law, and the fact that I started it by saying this isn't financial advice doesn't mean anything at all. So I think there just needs to be like a tradition where instead of thanking people for giving buy signals in their videos, you just call them out for it. Just like force them to do something about the overwhelming onslaught of comments about how garbage the shit they're posting is. And if you make crypto content and you've ever said not financial advice in a video, go back and see why you felt the urge to say that. And then go like spend 10 minutes, the least you can do for your audience. Since you already lie to them about how much research you do for crypto, like at the bare minimum, you could go do 5 minutes of research to figure out how to conduct your channel legally. And I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with the laws, but it's like, again, it's just so goddamn easy to learn and figure it out. Like, just go fucking read it, dude. Like, the number of people who will tell me that I should believe what they say about crypto because they've done 10,000 hours of research into blockchain technology and they've tried everything, and yet they haven't done 14 seconds of research on the CFTC homepage. Like, you're a pathological liar and a grifter.
I don't know that that's untrue, but do you think at all? I think part of the badness, they should be accountable and liable, and we should hold them to a better standard. But I will say, I think it is poorly communicated generally. The CFTC as an entity is so much less well known than the SEC. And I also think that while content creators of any kind, leaders of any kind, people who use their presence in a space to ask for others' attention should hold themselves to a higher standard. I don't know. I think we haven't done a good enough job telling that story. Not that it's your job and my job. It's their job. We did it. We looked it up. We do our best. We're willing to say we don't know. A lot of people are not. But I don't know. I know you're choosing violence, and I'm not trying to invalidate it at all. I think it's totally justified. I want you to go flip some tables somewhere. I just think this is a bigger problem than just only. And I worry in your violence, which is justified, that these people who may be swayed, who are the many who've yet to join us, but just don't realize it yet, maybe scorned, and therefore, we will make enemies where we might have had friends. I'm always thinking about that.
For the record, I didn't give Evan any warning that this is how I was coming into the scene this morning. So
it's a good improv.
I've just blitzed him with my violence. I don't know that I agree that like just repeatedly doing the soft hand approach, which feels, really, really close to screaming into the void. I don't know, because I'm not suggesting, and I wouldn't suggest that you do anything like, horrible to these people. I just want their comments to, instead of being filled by like ticker symbols and rocket emojis that don't help anyone or teach anyone anything, that you fill it up with, just my favorite comment to leave is, I'm feeling really financially advised right now. I love doing that because you can tell a lot by how frickin' defensive people get when you say that to them.
Well, no wonder they get defensive, because that's very petty.
Yeah, it is.
I liked where you were going until you said that. What if instead you said, how is what you're doing regulatory compliant? Like what I'm saying is, I love the approach. I love it all. And everyone in the comments loves it too. Let's flip the tables. Let's totally do it. But what if instead the call to action was not, let's go be petty, or totally deplatform them and alienate them? And because sometimes when you disagree with someone in that kind of way, it causes them to dig their heels in, to double down, to fight you, instead of inviting them to change, which is what we want to do, or holding them accountable or making them stop. I'm not suggesting a soft approach. I'm suggesting accountability and justice. and reconciliation, which is
I
the
would
end of
say
that story.
attempt both. I have made multiple attempts. You know how many DMs after especially the one yesterday was, a single instance where I like reached out to a creator who was obviously breaking the law and just offered to quietly behind the scenes help them correct themselves so that they quit doing that in the interest of making the space better. Never once has anyone taken me up on that offer. Never once. And actually more than once have I been heckled for saying that and just called a narc and like, oh, I didn't realize you were a Gary Gensler bootlicker. So it's not helpful. You can't reason someone out of something that they weren't reasoned into in the first place. So you have to understand like how someone arrived at the opinion that they hold. What is the reason that they have that opinion? And if the reason that they have that opinion is because they've been fine so far, it's like trying to convince a kid who eats a lot of candy that they're going to really hurt themselves down the line when right now they feel fine. That's a really hard argument to win because right now they're fine and they're completely incapable of like looking forward or like, because the ability to predict the consequences of your actions doesn't even form in your brain until your mid-20s, right? So
But the petty remark is selfish because it only does something for you. For a person like that who doesn't get it, all that does is like, release a little tension for you, which may be necessary, but it is at the expense of their potential understanding. It is a closed and selfish act.
So let me ask you this then. If I were to, this is the degen Derek logic. Make a scene in the face of someone's indignance to do better in order to, through their platform, help educate people who watch them and may actually have the desire to improve. If I can establish like enough evidence to prove to myself, perhaps my standard of proof, my threshold for proof is lower than yours. But if I can establish that they're not interested in learning, which in the example that we discussed yesterday, I have established. Okay. I have seen no evidence to suggest that they're interested in learning, because I was hyper polite in my first bring up of the whole problem. If you can establish that, then why wouldn't you get a little bit inflammatory because drama always gets attention and then use that to educate someone else using the person who's indignant as a proxy for your message's amplification? Are
you asking why? Okay, why wouldn't I? I personally wouldn't do it because
you've done it though.
Get incendiary and inflammatory, you mean?
No. Used someone else's platform as a proxy to educate someone else.
Absolutely. I would do that all day long. I just am disagreeing with, I don't think what you're doing when you're petty, I think it attracts a particular type of attention, but I don't think it accomplishes that goal. I think as a tactic, it gets in the way of that goal. I would be in favor of something different, but that was your question, so I don't want to cut you off if you have another one.
No, I mean, I'm also not going to disagree that it's petty. It is petty.
Sometimes good.
I'm a petty bitch.
I am too, inside somewhere.
I hold a grudge. It doesn't take much to fire me up. And we've been watching this for years, dude. Years.
Yeah, okay. And it is time to flip some tables. That's like what Tori says. That's what everyone in the comments is I'm on your team. I just think, okay, what if this is the approach? And what if we like organize around it? Let's make it a thing. Let's make it a Rise Up Morning Show thing. And we will support you. And you can be the one who leads this part of it. What if it looked like you've reached out to someone? We can all do this. We reach out to someone. First of all, we educate ourselves. Google, like Alex said, CFTC Content Creator Guidelines. They're right there. Find them, know them, get familiar with them, especially if you're a creator, especially if you're a consumer of content. Step number one is approach someone privately or directly in the comments and try to be helpful before you be petty. I would say if your goal is reconciliation and getting them to tell a better story. Are you aware that what you're doing breaks the law? Can I share something I just learned about the law? I'm concerned that this content might be illegal. Can I share? Whatever. I don't know. Find a way to, this is...
My one amendment. Okay. First of all, I agree. I always reach out privately first.
Totally. You do.
my petty little pithy comments about how financially advised I'm feeling come after I've been ignored and left on red. I will. It's not like I just discovered this. I'm not an idiot. Like, I looked this up week 1 of making content, right? 3.5 years ago. I was like, how do I make, it was like, just, I don't know why this isn't common sense for anyone with a platform. And it's like, how can I make sure I'm not breaking the law with my content because you're posting things on it? And I tell you this all the time. I expect that every text I send, every DM I send, every video I post, every tweet I send, any piece of content that's written by me, ends up on social media, is going to be screenshot and held up in front of me one day, and I'm going to be asked to justify why I said it. I think about that every single time I send anyone anything, including text messages to friends of mine. That would be insane if they came out.
But the fact that that is such a foundational core value for you, I think, is blinding you to assume it should therefore be common sense to other people, and maybe causing you to resent them for it, that it's not.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but what if this was step 2? Instead of the pity, what if step 2 was we could be public? Like, if somebody is doing something wrong and you try to hold them accountable, and it's not an opinion thing, it's illegal, it's, this is the law, it's clear. We don't have to alienate them. We don't have to end the conversation there. We don't have to get, we could get pithy, that could be fine. But then we approach them publicly. I would approach you in the town square and say, are you aware that what you are doing is illegal? And the TikTok version of that, honestly, I kind of hate call out videos, but I feel like there is a version of that could be like, hey, did you know that this is what the CFTC says and this is legal? You tag them in the comments, you put a screenshot of this is a video advertising a product. Notice that in the description and notice in the comments, there is no whatever. I have approached this person directly, and they have not answered me. I understand how DMs are on crypto TikTok, but if you would like to talk about this and learn about it, I'm happy to help. Like, that would be, I don't know, in my mind, that'd be flipping a table on somebody and making them glad. They'd be like, wow, I don't know who that guy is who's attacking me, but God, he's friendly. That's my game. It doesn't have to be your game. But that would be a good second step because it educates people. It probably would be controversial enough to get a lot of views. And at that point, if somebody ignores you, the third thing would be, well, I've reached out to this person and talked to them, and everyone in the comments, let's talk to them. Let's hold them accountable. This is unacceptable. At this point, I believe this person is not willing to engage with what they are doing as legal. Let's deplatform them. And
So the only thing is, I think that's a lot of work to do when it's, no, what I mean is that if the reasoning is that is like what should be attempted before I tell viewers, like people who are trying to learn, to like, hey, here are the things you can look out for to know that someone who's feeding you information is breaking the law or doing it illegally, or even just giving you bad information, even if it's not illegal. Just, this is the definition of unhelpful information. And as someone who wants to see the industry succeed, the number one thing that needs to happen is the industry has to clean itself up. Like, you gotta get our shit together. You say that all the time. We have to tell a better story. So for me, that's part of it. Part of it is, rather than creating a helpful, polite piece of content where I politely point out to somebody that this is a problem, I don't see any reason in just skipping the line and telling anyone who's listening to me, like, hey, it would be great to help curtail the spread of garbage, especially on this platform and especially in this niche. To just be aware that this is illegal, this is bad, this is negligent, this is malicious. When you see in the video, tell them that this is ridiculous. Tell them
I
that
think it's mutually exclusive, but the thing is, Alex, if you make a video like that without calling someone out, I think it's less direct and therefore less likely to be it's like spraying from a shotgun instead of shooting somebody with a missile. Is what I would compare it to. If I call someone out directly, lovingly or not, they have more of a reason to engage with me. And my ultimate goal would be to change the behavior or stop the support for it. To teach that person and also the people who watch them that, like, it's up to all of us to tell a better story. And I just feel like you can do both. You can make a video that says, here are the CFTC guidelines for content creators without calling anyone out, and then telling them they should call people out. But you can also make a video, here's an example of, you know, how this person did da 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 da, that would probably be more effective, especially if it was friendly, at calling someone into change than a pithy comment, and setting you up as a credible. I mean, people love controversial folks, but I don't think you want the reputation. Maybe you do. You will alienate some people that way. I think there is room to draw a bigger circle around the audience. I don't know if that made any sense, but I think you can do both. Is the TLDR? It's not mutually exclusive. You should do both. You are a guy who's positioned to do that. Why don't you make specific call-out videos? Why don't you name specific creators?
Honestly, because the thought of getting into internet beef with another crypto content creator is so fucking exhausting, that I genuinely don't think I have the bandwidth to do it. Like, I am way too busy and stressed about things that have nothing to do with my life on this platform, with everything else going on in my personal life, in my world, in my family's world, to decide that I want to
be effective though at accomplishing the goal. Like, I think it would be more effective to call people out after you've addressed them. Like, if you really care about that, then I would say, as like, you know, the guy who's telling you how to architect, like, if I wasn't just your friend, but I was like playing a Monopoly game, I think that's the most effective way you personally could do it. Although I respect if you have a boundary there.
No, I'm going to disagree pretty hard there, because you and I have both been in internet feuds with people before. They are mentally and emotionally draining, especially when you are trying to like argue like rational thought and logic from the point of view of learning and educating and improving against someone who feels immediately backed into a corner, gets defensive, and just yells at you. Like, arguing with people on the internet is one of the biggest wastes of time collectively, unless you are in a very specific kind of conversation, and there are millions and millions and millions of comment threads to back up that claim. So I completely get like the way that you like to operate, and I've seen you do the work, and like you have a very unique ability to communicate that way. I will fully admit that I don't have the same ability to communicate. I communicate very differently than you do. I mean, that's well,
that's what I love about you, is you're different than me.
But I'm just saying that's not news to anybody. But my point is that, like, I know. I mean, the question was, why don't I make call-out videos? It's because I've seen those, and then it's never ended up becoming about the viewer and the audience. It's never been about the end of the argument. Like, the argument doesn't end with both sides feeling educated and walking away wholesome and fulfilled. It ends with one side being like, "Ha, fuck you, you just got dunked on the internet." It immediately translates. The second you start fighting on the internet with somebody in comments, throughout video stitches or whatever, that's the second that you degrade the argument, whether its impetus was educational and wholesome, down to a third grade schoolyard brawl, which is all just about which kid is slightly taller, whose dad can beat up whose dad. No audience ever feels educated at the end of beef.
I don't disagree with you at all. I agree with you completely. But I'm going to take it as a personal challenge. I think as a community, it's clear that our people care as much as you do about this. I agree with you that I think there's a lot we can do to hold these people accountable. I will see what I can do about making some call-out videos after approaching some people personally, because maybe that's my task. And I think I love the idea that Tori had about making a PDF bumper sticker. I wish you could post pictures on TikTok comments, you know, but we could do it on Warpcast or whatever. What was the one you sent me yesterday, where we were talking? So yesterday, Alex and I had some meetings with different folks, some potential sponsors, and Alex sent me a Twitter thing, because we were talking about how can we position ourselves to creators in the space who are telling a better story. Like, we want to add value to their platforms, especially if they're not necessarily crypto people. But also if they are, like, that's something we can do. And then Alex, it was, I wasn't familiar with the creator on Twitter, but they're like carrying a torch and pitchfork, and they're like, tell me who the influencers are who scam you, and let's go burn their platforms down. And I was like, Yeah,
Talking about
Kara.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't remember her name, and I wasn't. Oh, here we go. Discord wasn't opening for me. Now it's opening.
Kara
Uh,
Zaba. Whether
yeah, so this would
that's
be a place
actually
you could post that kind of thing. Was Kara Zabo? Is she related to Nick?
I don't even know if that's genuinely a woman. It's an anonymous crypto profile that just does, Zach XBT type stuff. It could be anybody. I have no idea who they are, but they post a lot of stuff about this, and it was just funny the timing of the whole thing because, for context, for those of you watching, I got an email yesterday or the day before from someone who claims to represent Scott Melker, who you may know on Twitter as the Wolf of All Streets, million-ish followers. Has a pretty big YouTube channel, and the invite was to host a show on their platform under the umbrella of the Wolf of All Streets show. And the question was like, do you say yes to that? Because, on one hand, regardless of the sanctity of that platform, you have the opportunity to like bring better messaging to that platform and reach a larger audience, and it's good exposure, and you can do good things by being given that opportunity. And on the other hand, how much does like what you do translate to more success for someone who may or may not be doing nefarious things? And there's just like, good rule of thumb for crypto is that if Zach XBT has more than one thread written about you, you've probably done something wrong. And Scott Melker has several
That's
Zach
the 11th
XBT
commandment
threads.
of the internet. Yeah.
So,
Alex, I didn't mean to totally segue away or move on. Do you feel well met on that topic? I feel like I feel well met on the topic, and I don't want to move away from it. If it's something you want to keep talking about, how we can address that, but I also don't want to kill our people's questions. Somebody said, well, I guess my question will have to wait, and I said, we'll get to it.
no, I can stop. I just, like I said, and I'm sorry. I just to get ahead, I appreciate everyone who has suggestions for pain management, and I never learn my lesson. I don't say that something hurts like to solicit a bunch of suggestions. I've been dealing with pretty bad chronic pain for a pretty long time. I've tried pretty much everything, and it's just one of those things. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about trying to fix me. That was just for context. Like, why am I so angry today? And why was I up so early stewing and brewing and hate watching garbage on TikTok? Why did I blitz Evan with this? So, no, I'm definitely good. I just, my ask is just what I always ask is like, as a viewer, like creators have a responsibility to post good stuff, but viewers also have a responsibility to demand better stuff. This is, and you could offer that to anyone, right? Like, it's really easy to feel defeated in the face of looking like you're up against an insurmountable barrier to something. So like, what power does one angry audience member have over a creator with 1 million followers who's never going to even know they exist? And even if they did know that they exist, would just fly. That's really hard to mantle. And you could put that, in front of anything, like, why do we let the government do all the horrendous things that the government does? Because we truly believe our one vote doesn't matter, and there's lots of things keeping us all apart, specifically designed to do so, of course, but it's really hard to get over. So that's why I say that. It's like the more times that we have the opportunity to remind all of us that collectively we are actually quite strong, is a good thing. And so, just demand better of content creators. And if you see someone saying not financial advice, but if you don't buy this, you're an idiot, don't miss out. Call them out, because that's illegal and it's really shitty.
And Tori made a good point. It's not just that it's illegal. It's what you said at the start. The fact that it's negligent at best and malicious at worst, because not every law is just. And, the law is pretty clear, but we need some more helpful laws in our space, especially. But in the meantime, the not caring about your audience, not wanting what's best, you are a steward of people's. When you ask for someone's attention, you are asking for permission to change their lives. So, whether that's with a fun joke or a piece of knowledge, like, you absolutely have to hold yourself to the highest standard. I couldn't agree more.
To agree with property lawyer as well, too. Like, obviously, the other risk that you run is that someone who does get hyper defensive, even if you are justified in your call out, Because I have been on the receiving end of a call out before. It was ridiculous. And the second I was like, you ever heard of defamation? They retracted and apologized publicly and groveled for the next 6 months. But you gotta at least be aware of the fact that, like, if you come after someone, they may or may not have legitimate cause to come back after you for, defaming them in public, especially if you make any mistakes in your call out.
Yeah, absolutely. Tori, walk safe. If you had a crypto question in the meantime, I know we had a question about Aptos versus Sui, which would be fun to answer. If you got another crypto question, let us know. Alex, no need to apologize for first of all, this is your show, man. You can talk about whatever you want, and I'll back you up. So
it might be our show, but it's also fair not to totally blitz the audience who showed up for one very specific thing and got something else very specific. Yeah. So we can derail, but
yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I don't hold either Sui or Aptos. I don't know if you do. We've heard about both of them on the show, and I have to look them up every time.
Which one?
Give me a second. Sui, S-U-I.
Oh, yeah.
And Aptos. Alex and I sometimes joke that there's so many tokens, like we forgot certainly more than we hold and probably more than we remember.
I have forgotten more tokens than I ever care to know anything about.
And tell us too in the comment. I can't remember who commented this. I apologize. Let us know if you have a preference. I think it was Nick. Let us know if you have a preference and why. And then also I saw Keith. I couldn't find it. I know you had a question too. Will you please post it again? And then while we're looking that up, I do want to shout out Robbie, because Robbie, I know you said you had something to share yesterday. Alex, Robbie and I had an awesome conversation when he offered to help foot some of the funds for the Warpcast channel. Thank you, by the way. Go sign up. And he was telling me more about Fetch, so remind me to come back to that later. And Robbie, give us a second to get through some of these questions, and then if you want to pop in and share your story if you have a minute, I'm sure that would be, everybody would love to hear from you, especially if you've got a poem you can read us. You want to split this up? You want to do Sui or Aptos? I happened to Google Sui first.
I was spoiler alert, I signed up for the free trial of Gemini Advanced yesterday, so opinion incoming.
Oh man, you're leaving me in the dust, dude. I'm still in the 21st century over here, and you're like on Mars with Elon.
Yeah, so I signed up so that you don't have to. Everyone can get a 2-month free trial, but you do have to give your credit card information to sign up for the trial, which I only did because Google already has it because I use Google Pay. But so far, I haven't run into anything where the advanced version specifically helps me yet. So, but I haven't tested it. I only started yesterday. So what I just did was just start a new thread, and the prompt was just side by side 2 cryptocurrencies for me, Sui versus Aptos, and it spit out a small thesis. So we could go through that. I bet if you gave it the same prompt, Evan, you would probably get something really similar. But here's the tech.
While Alex is asking that, I'm going to rapid fire a couple of questions that are here that I could touch with one. Cookie Muncher, what crypto narrative could perform better in this coming bull run? If you have specific narratives that, people can make a different case for lots of them. I think the ones that are in the attention of, the common sphere are real world assets, AI, gaming, decentralized physical infrastructure, sometimes called DePIN, decentralized science, though less so in other places than TikTok, decentralized social media, meme tokens, and if I'm forgetting one, Alex, let me know. But those are kind of the big ones that I see emerging again and again. Also consumer crypto, mostly with insiders. Products like the new Coinbase Smart Wallet. Products like, I don't know, even Pump.Fun. We had a meeting with them yesterday. That's a very consumer-oriented, use-it product.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of those, the other question behind that question, all of those are going to have tokens that pump because people are talking about that right now. Which ones will have crypto tokens that last a year, 10 years, that are necessary? That's another question entirely. And I would look for who is using who's shipping products, and whose products, which are being shipped that actually exist, have the most users. What do you think?
Yes, I would agree with all of that. Years doing this has led me to the conclusion so far, open to being proven wrong. It's a fluid opinion, but really, like, above everything, I guess, especially like this may or may not change like as the industry matures, but at least now and for the foreseeable future, users having fun with your stuff is the only thing that matters. Like, your underlying technology does not matter, and the biggest multi-billion-dollar case study of that is Solana. Um, More people are like happy and excited about things happening on Solana than they are in any other ecosystem right now, with the possible exception, of base growing. Um,
Yeah.
but base can't hold a candle to the size of the Solana community right now. I don't expect not necessarily that to like stay that way forever, certainly, but yeah, make a product that like at least semi functions but looks nice, is easy to use, and people have a reason to try it. I had a meeting with another crypto product the other day, and that was the question. They perfectly articulated to me the problem that they were interested in solving. I agreed that it was a legitimate problem that I had personally faced, and it's like, cool, let's hear the solution. And then the guy talked for 15 straight minutes, and at the end of that 15 minutes, I had absolutely no idea what his solution was. He could not articulate it to me. And then finally, pushed and prodded a little bit. He finally kind of spit it out, and I was just like, oh yeah, no, that's a terrible idea. Like that's never going to work. Couldn't be less bullish on that as the solution. But like, you're on the right track. So like, here's what I would recommend. So like, we've identified problems. There's definitely problems, but we got to work on the solution part. So yeah, users and a good UX, and people having fun. It's about the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I forgot. Bitcoin DeFi is that same kind of thing. Like, people are hip to it, they're interested in it, they're building there, but like, what are they going to build? Are people going to use it? Will it be fun? You mentioned Solana, and somebody asked about a Solana exchange. We Do Recover asked it, and apparently I did not know about SolSex is what I think it is. SolCex, centralized exchange launched on Solana. If it's affiliated with Solana, Alex, obviously it's a no-brainer, because Solana VC chain, they want their money. People are playing there, and Jupiter, Radium, they've got all the activity. They're decentralized. Solana wants a piece of the pie. So like, why wouldn't they do it? Makes sense. I would be impressed if they're as good as Jupiter, though. Jupiter is a killer product.
Mm-hmm.
They're
running. They are. Sorry, I don't mean that the price is running. I actually have no idea what Jupiter's price is right now, but
no, but they're running the show in terms of their features and functionality. That is a product people love to use. The only thing that would be better is if they had a BonkBot style interface where you could remove everything and just be fast and clean. And I bet they're working on it.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool.
Can someone help me in the comments, or Alex, can you? Robbie said the relationship between Sui and Say, like their sister blockchains. I believe they're both in the Cosmos ecosystem, but I just wanted to be clear on the connection, because I'm still looking up, getting an opinion on Sui and Aptos.
Yeah, I from this little thread, are you looking at like more official documentation for one of them right now?
I pulled up a couple tabs for both. So I pulled up the Sui website, which is very much like a layer one, crypto website. Benefits of Web3, easy Web2. I've got a Medium article up. I've got a news article up. And then I just am doing some Googling to try and find like some actual numbers, because I know people want to speculate. But it might be one of those things I have to sit down and look at for 10 minutes. The thing about a layer one is there's so much to look at. So much you can look at. And I'm looking for usability. What are they shipping? Are people using it? How many devs do they have? What are the devs actually doing?
So the side-by-side right here.
Yeah, what do you got?
And I am, so for the record, this is from an AI generated prompt. So like I would like to fact check to make sure this is actually accurate, because I have sent it to URL before and been like, hey, check out this website for me, and it was like, your use of the phrase, insert a phrase that does not appear anywhere on the page I sent it, it's not perfect. So we'll fact check this stuff. But it sounds like they both use an incredibly similar consensus mechanism based on the Byzantine fault tolerant, excuse me. They're both basically optimized for the exact same thing. The architecture of SUI is focused on object-centric design, using a DAG rather than a traditional blockchain, and then Aptos is a traditional blockchain with a modular structure for potential upgrades. Modularity is a little tiny, like super niche narrative I've definitely seen like kicked around once or twice, and it makes sense. Like, to draw another comparison, because I love comparing blockchain and crypto to cars. The ease of maintenance on a Rivian truck's battery versus a Tesla battery is the fact that the Rivian battery is like hyper modular, and it's contained lots of little teeny little cells. So like if a cell goes bad, you can pull one little cell out and replace the cell, versus like a Prius battery where you have to replace a giant multi-$1,000 battery. So that is like a pretty easy to understand, I think, seems good to me. The modularity aspect. And then they both use the exact same programming language, which is Move, which is one I'm not even remotely familiar with, but I already texted Daniel, what the hell is Move? And then let's see. They're both kind of designed for scalability, high throughput, developer friendliness. Aptos seems to have more extensive documentation and a focus on specific dev support, which I like to see. Like, if it's easier for devs to do cool stuff on your network.
I'm seeing a lot of that too.
Yeah, it's hopefully they then use that to do things that will bring users, because that's what ultimately matters. Performance. SUI here is noted as being a less mature ecosystem than Aptos, but growing rapidly. Mainnet launch with significant developer interest. So seems that there are devs already interested in doing stuff on SUI, which seems to be the case for pretty much everybody who's incentivizing devs to work. So that's not necessarily special. It says here, this is an interesting bullet, early concerns around tokenomics have faded with focus on network growth. So like, what does that mean? Token price went up and suddenly we don't care about bad tokenomics anymore? Although, Evan, I'm curious to hear if you found anything on this. We always say here that usually projects that have the best chance of like more ideal and proper utility sometimes have to get that utility at the sacrifice of healthy tokenomics. Yeah. So that's not necessarily a problem for me, but it might be a problem for someone who's exclusively interested in investing. Token experience significant volatility. I mean, yeah, show me the crypto that hasn't, besides XRP.
Welcome to Crypto Gemini.
I mean, there's two or three more little tiny things that's very basic. I'll ask it to expand and give me more details next, but they're both new. They're both under active development. Things are changing rapidly. All of the crypto is volatile. Yada yada yada. They both seem to have a good developer ecosystem, lots of partnerships. And then Aptos, the one thing I'm going to ask you to expand about Aptos for me is that there were noted concerns about actual throughput on mainnet, which is much lower than the initial testnet results, which tracks. Like we say, typically, like transactions per second are tested the same way that miles per gallon are tested in a car, as an average of different scenarios. Like, not all transactions are the same. Like, sending an NFT is much harder than sending a token or a fungible token. Sending a token to someone who doesn't hold it is harder than sending it to someone who already does hold it. Sending a big one is harder than sending a little one, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that this answer necessarily pushes me one way or the other, which I guess is good for this. they're both kind of presented in good lights with a light highlight on a couple of small concerns.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is it's the same kind of thing like this in terms of price action. Looks like Sui, looks like Say. I haven't got to Aptos yet, but it looks like they have benefited from a lot of attention when they launched, and then maybe after being overpriced, people kind of got used to it, and it cooled off a little. Anybody who's doing a layer one, I like to invest in layer ones because they're building ecosystems. It tends to be a less risky investment than Elon's baby Papa Doge, whatever. And since they're doing a lot of stuff, they tend to attract a lot of money, and at least in the short to medium term can be good investments. I get nervous when they're around for more than one cycle, and ultimately, like honestly, everybody, I don't know what you think about this, Alex, but the longer Ethereum is alive and the more people do there to I'm not saying it's going to be the only one, but it's so programmable. It's got so much attention. I mean, you really have to do something special to get my attention away from a blockchain that pretty much can do all the stuff. It's bad for some things, but people are working on it, and more people are working on it than almost any other ecosystem anywhere for a longer amount of time. Base, I think, is cool because Coinbase is backing them and the people that are paying attention to it. Solana is cool because of the consumers that are using it. I don't know. And it's hard for me to be really, truly like bullish on any other, I mean, aside from Bitcoin, layer one that is meant to be like for builders to scale, to be fast, to be cheap, to be private, to be secure, whatever. Like, I don't know. I would invest in them as a speculator early before people started talking about it. And that's about it. What do you think?
I think that's a really interesting point that we've kind of danced around, but I've never vividly drawn that distinction. I like that a lot. The less bullish on ecosystems that seem to be exclusively focused on improving the developer environment, and it's interesting because you would think critical thought about that idea would probably immediately lead you to the conclusion that, well, of course, that has to be the case. But I think, I'm not a developer, so I would ask Daniel about this, but my impression is that Solana's focus has not been exclusively on like building the best developer environment. It's been focused on like running really fast, breaking stuff, and giving people a lot of products to choose from, even if a lot of them are not very good.
Yeah, like the phone.
Like the phone, but they can be like fun and it's trendy and it has attention and the marketing is killer. Because if you have an ecosystem that like users really want to participate in, even if they don't have anything great that they can do there, but they're just like, the vibe is right, then the devs are going to go there because they ultimately want to create products where users are actually going to be able to use them. And if it's just a bunch of developers working in a specific ecosystem that every user is like afraid of because there's no marketing, there's no like good, easy interfaces to interact with, then the users aren't going to show up, and then the devs are going to leave because there's no one to use their products, and then the chain's going to die.
Yeah, and Daniel says I agree. And the other thing I think about Solana is Solana was the first, in my mind, to the party that captured the at the right moment to be like the ETH killer, in the sense that they're like the T-Mobile to Ethereum's Verizon. They are the first blockchain company to launch a viable layer one to attract attention and interest away in any meaningful way from Ethereum as a development platform. Yeah. And if Multiverse X had gotten there first, if Near Protocol had gotten there first, if Polkadot had told a better story to the right audience, they were too early, I think. Like the positioning, the timing, the story, if ICP had timed it appropriately, I think any one of those fast, scalable, cheap, energy efficient blockchains that all tell you the same thing and they have slightly different perks. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it's luck too, I think. I mean, and then people built, Soul Mail, Soul Chat. Somebody asked about Soul Chat. People are just building stuff now. The foundation is there. They're doing the next level. It's hard to catch up to them.
Robbie says too early, worse than too late. I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily disagree with that because, of course, it's implied that if you're too something to whatever, then it's not good. You would ideally just want to be right on time. But if you're late, at least you have the opportunity to learn from people who have come before you and made mistakes. But of course, the people who are early can get first mover advantage, and they may have an easier time pivoting. But I guess if you can't pivot, it's really hard to say. I don't know that there's a clear, better or worse than in either of those. It's just, I think it's, no, you know what? I think it would be dependent on the project itself and like how well can they adapt to like market demands and changing market climate. Because like if you take Cardano and Polkadot, which were two, I mean, they still are. They're huge. Titans of the space, top 25. Can't imagine them dropping out of the top 25 anytime soon, right? But they picked like really specifically, deliberately heavy, dusty academic marketing strategies about like why they are technically far superior to whoever.
Yeah.
And people like bought into that because there was nothing else to compare it to. And it was at a time when no one really had any good products for anyone to use. So that's kind of an interesting one too, and they haven't shown a need to pivot, even though Solana is proving them and their strategy wrong every day, with
Can I pivot? Speaking of pivots, I just wanted to, like, I wish I had a red button. I need the soundboard back with like a we could push. So just imagine that in your heads. My Jim Cramer's coming out and I'm, hitting the board. I want to talk to anybody like Safa who has just made a significant crypto purchase. Safa, I'm so glad that you're here. I saw above that you just bought $5,000 in Bitcoin. If that's, I don't know if that's a significant amount of money for you. I'm here to tell you, if I was buying $5,000 of anything, I would expect cards either checking on me or congratulating me. I wouldn't tell you if I won the lottery, but there'd be signs. So Safa, if that's you, anybody who's considering buying crypto, especially if it's your first purchase, I gotta say, it's not for us to tell you what to do with your money, but there is a lot more risk. There is a lot more susceptibility to volatility when you take a large amount of money and make a single purchase. Before you do it, you got to ask yourself, am I comfortable with losing this money? And if the answer is no, that should be your first red flag. But if you miss that strike, I would also say, what is my expectation for this money? Do I expect it to grow? And if so, how quickly? To how much? What other things could I be doing with this money that would improve my life? I think a lot of people buy crypto in big amounts because they get excited about it. Nothing wrong with the excitement. But I would say, make sure before you buy any amount, you buy a small amount, test it out, know how to move it, make sure you did that. And I'm not just speaking to you, Safa, because I don't know what your experience is. But, and the other thing is dollar cost averaging can be a great way to spend the same amount of money in a proven, less volatile, risky way over time so that you're not overexposed, et cetera, et cetera. If I start to say more, I'm going to become your financial advisor, and that's not my job. But I want to help educate you, and I want to kick it to Alex because, what would you say to a person who, especially if they're caught up in the excitement of, crypto before they buy or buying in such large amounts? I don't know. I'm trying to make it a good PSA here, and I feel like I have the bumper sticker.
I feel you. Safa's follow-up was they did that because they know nothing, and then the next follow-up was that they're ready to lose it. So I think you're killing it. Good job. As long as you're at peace with the fact that you might lose it, good job. It's one of those things, Evan. Like it's like you said. I think you said it totally fine. We have no clue what your personal finances look like. It would be insane for us to give you financial advice.
Totally.
If $5,000 is every penny you have to your name and you put it in something that you expect to lose, I would say that's probably a bad idea. If you make $100,000 a month, you're probably fine. You know what I mean? Like there's such a wide range of financial situations that I would say, as long as if you're investing money into cryptocurrency, and you are comfortable with the fact that in the especially short to mid term, it could go down drastically, and you're aware of that, I think, welcome to the
I
party.
may be projecting. I really could be projecting. Safa said I make $200K a year, so it's okay. Hey, listen, I love it.
Cool.
Let me tell you, if you make a significant amount of money and want to make a great investment, this is about the only thing I feel comfortable telling you. This show is not yet sponsored by you, but it could be. The Rise Up Morning Show is helpful news, commentary. It's crypto for everybody. It's, as far as I'm concerned, an up-only investment. And you can call me. You can call me and we can talk about it. That would make a big difference in bringing crypto to the masses. But also, good luck with the Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, sorry. I had to give that PSA though before
Mr. Dez, that is kind of exactly what I was just saying. We have no idea what your financial situation is, and this isn't the platform for you to bear all of your financial details with us. So I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that question for you because it's a different answer for everyone. But I think the safest answer is that it becomes too many tokens when you can no longer keep up consistently with the happenings and the goings on and the current events related to each one of those tokens. So if you don't have it in your capacity to stay up to date and informed on more than 5, I would say cap it at 5. If you can comfortably do 10, I would say cap it at 10. So just consider that. It's a lot of work to stay completely up to date on too many projects. I have held up to a ridiculous number, in the very beginning, 20, and I had to consolidate because I was just I couldn't keep up. I mean, even though I was reading all day long about all of them, it just became an obsession, and it was ridiculous. And one would do really well, and then I would miss taking profits on this because this was crashing, and I was stressed about that and trying to figure out why, and blah blah blah. So,
Angel asked about an interesting project that I would like your opinion on, and I say it's an interesting project because I think the problem they're trying to solve is divisive, and it's insurance. This is Insure DeFi, who bills themselves as the future of Web3 insurance. So first thing to note, they are marketing to a crypto-savvy audience. Most people who hear the term Web3 are either, not in it yet, but it's a dog whistle for people like us. They're saying, hey, you're into crypto. You want to see insurance? It's like a utility play. I know this about it before I even look at it. They've got 30,000 followers on Twitter. They've got insuretoken.net. And what their phrase is Sure, which is a token, is helping to develop market need insurance for the crypto space to stabilize and secure #crypto and #RWA portfolios. So this is a marketing team here. I want to know, Alex, what do you think? I haven't looked at the tokenomics, haven't looked at how it works, but it seems like somehow their ecosystem and probably their token, that's my first question, is the token necessary? Is something you would invest in as a way to recoup losses in the event a hack occurs, and maybe they have a product about it. We'll find out. But generally speaking, what do you think about insurance in Web3 and this particular version of insurance, for crypto assets? Thoughts?
I think the idea of insurance is a good one. It's an industry that's made a shitload of money, but I would question, I guess, the reasoning behind using an also volatile cryptocurrency to do anything with insurance. Insurance seems like a thing you'd use a stablecoin for, if anything. At least that would be my reflex.
I agree, and I also think the best crypto solution for insurance, CryptTruth said it below, is smart contracts. The ability to remove Web 2 practices with a smart contract, or to use a smart contract in other industries that would make them more secure and therefore less costly to insure, is in where my mind goes with this tech. When I go to their website, it says insure your crypto portfolio, and the very second thing I see that's in bold print is, check this out, 24% APR with Sure. Look how it's presented. Insure your crypto portfolio. 27. And then buy Sure tokens. Stake on dexes. So to me...
So wait. Is this what's the process? How does it work? Is the point that, I would like pay for a policy hosted by that company that would then pay me when my portfolio tanks because for some reason their token didn't tank?
I
Or
don't
is
know
it
yet, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. And to me, that's like a C plus application of this technology in terms of like it's a marketing play. It's a
dude,
marketing.
fuck that. That's a terrible idea. Um,
How
the
it works? Hang on, let me.
Okay. Yeah, I need
Okay.
more information.
Okay, so first, here's what you do. You purchase Sure tokens from exchanges and
Okay.
enable coverage on the dashboard. Insurance is enabled after 7 days of contributing Sure to the vault. 7 days of staking, your insurance is enabled.
Okay.
And then, in order to process your claim, you got to stake it on their place or on a DEX.
Okay.
Contributing to a liquidity pool. So no centralized exchanges. This is definitely they create insurance by getting your liquidity. So
Okay.
step two is you submit a request. If your portfolio, and it doesn't say what portfolio is here, is affected by a scam, devaluation, stolen funds, like an exchange closer, we will be happy to reimburse your losses based on the plan chosen by you. So it could be you file a claim, they talk about it like you send your wallet address, send the incident. There are some voting options set for the ticket. Please give community members 3 to 4 business days to process your request. Once the investigation is complete, there's an insured DAO. Anyone who holds Sure can vote, and then you receive payment if you're approved. We process your request with diligence and then transfer Sure tokens from the community vault to the wallets of the claimers in the amount covered by the insurance policy. You're not forced to sell your tokens right away. You can, which is a marketing play. Don't sell them right away. You can stake them, get APR. Okay, so I actually don't think this is a bad deal. Like replacing insurance companies with a DAO and removing, like, turning the dollars into Sure tokens, making it a community voting process. I would be concerned about how fast is it really, because the reason Geico is so fast is because they're centralized. And I don't know. I would want them to insure more than crypto. Like that's cool, but like, can you do my house? Can you do my boat?
Yeah, so I actually do really enjoy the idea of decentralizing insurance.
Mm-hmm.
However, that doesn't mean that I'm like concernless about it because we should always be concerned about the fact that like if you decentralize the insurance process and then make the thing open, that someone could just buy all of the enough influence in the voting structure and in the governance token or whatever to be able to like approve or deny by themselves people's claims based on like what they want to see, which would then kind of lead us right back to square one of the problem of centralized insurance. So if it starts as decentralized, but it's like easy for it to become centralized, then I don't care. It doesn't add anything to the insurance world that exists right now. But I think it would be really cool if there was like a more measured structure, like I always talk about with DAOs, right? In order for a DAO to actually work, you can't buy the governance token. You have to earn it by participating in an agreed upon set of parameters that everyone signs up for when they start supporting the DAO. So if that's, if your local public library becomes a DAO or your local food co-op or farmers market becomes a DAO, then you earn your governance tokens by showing up every weekend and checking in and supporting vendors and setting up a stand and, doing whatever. You don't just get to like walk in one day with $100,000 and buy the right to control the DAO. So if that's how it's set up, then that would be the deal breaker for me.
Yeah, that's a super good point. So I'm looking at the token price because I see their packages. It looks like right now the token price is 5 thousandths of a cent. So not 5 cents, not the next one, but the next one. So you could buy 1,000 of them for $5, and their packages are. Check this out. I got to show you the graphic because right now this is a good deal. Their beginner package, 2,500 tokens, so is going to be $2.50, and covers up to 1,000. That covers you for a third of a year. So for less than $10, you can be covered for up to $1,000. That's pretty darn good. Their highest package is 500,000 tokens. So this would cost you, let me move the decimal, 1, 2, 3 times 5. $2,500 gives you coverage for 2 years, and it's up to $140,000. 100% of scams, 100% of devaluation, 100% of stolen funds. That's pretty good. My concern now would be, aside from the ones we just talked about, what's the value of the token going to do in the future?
Yeah,
You know, because people will speculate on this token.
sure.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's the problem that I see with it. Great idea, poor execution, I think.
I want to show you one more thing on insurance before we move on. This is there's a just consulting firm, looks like they're Web 2, Web 3 adjacent. They've got a really good report on the opportunities for insurance companies in Web 3. And it's hard to see this, but they've got sort of a two-dimensional example of like how you might apply insurance. A virtual vault for NFTs, so like security. Theft insurance for exchanges. That's going to be a big one. Decentralized smart contract insurance. That's kind of what we were talking about at the start, is like how do you replace middlemen? And then there's also what this is, a more decentralized insurance platform, travel insurance using smart contracts. I think insurance is a really interesting industry,
For sure.
you know, for this. We can talk about it more another time, but lots of value opportunities there.
Yeah, the other interesting little tidbit about why that is probably necessary and would just need to work on the methodology for the execution of whatever project wants to fix it is just that even if exchanges are FDIC insured, there's a lot of exceptions to like what FDIC insurance does and doesn't cover. And one of the things that it doesn't cover is if you're the victim of fraud. If you do something that results in your money being stolen from you, usually FDIC won't cover that kind of a loss. And actually, there are weird provisions baked into FDIC parameters and exceptions as well, which are wild to read into from cyber threats. So, like, if the bank got hacked and lost money, even if your account was FDIC insured, if the bank claims that they were defrauded, FDIC might not cover that either.
Dang.
There's like almost no way to actually get FDIC to cover your insurance policy, which is insane, which is super on brand for insurance and why this is a big problem.
Yeah, honestly, truly. Alex, I'm so sorry to rug you, but I do have to go in about 10 minutes. And I saw we had a question about security tokens. And of
Yep.
course, if you have other questions, you know, throw them in. We might not get to them today. I did want to say that before we go, be sure to tap our faces. If you're not on Warpcast yet, a whole new reason for you to get over there. Thanks to Tori and thanks to Robbie, we've got a channel set up there for people to kind of congregate as the Rise Up Morning Show community. It's warpcast.com/rise-up. Now, click either of our faces to get the referral link. We're having a competition, and I think I'm smoking you, dude. I think I've had like 3 or 4 in the last couple days.
I'm sure you're demolishing me. I haven't looked, but I'm
So
sure.
you know, go give Alex a reason to smile today and sign up through his referral link. It's not going to cost you anything extra. The platform does cost, I think, $5 to use. It's how they prevent bots, and it's not like Elon's thing where you got to pay $12 a month or whatever. It's like a one time, or it might be an annual fee, and I think it's worth it. You can try before you buy. It's the best place, the best social to get close to actually helpful crypto information in the form of primary sources and to actually start to experience a lot of consumer crypto products in the context of a social media app. Like the stuff we always talk about when everything's going to be an NFT, it is on Warpcast and it's actually cool. And the best investment you can make is investing in your knowledge, investing in your relationships. It's just an easy place to do it. So check it out. Thanks to Robbie and thanks to Tori. We've got the Rise Up channel over there, /rise-up if you search it on Warpcast. And if you can't find it, you know, we'll put it on the link tree at the riseupmorningshow.com, which also you should visit because if you're not signed up for the newsletter yet or you haven't checked out the YouTube, please do. They're good. And they can be better with your feedback. That's all I'll say about that. What do we got, Alex, on these security tokens? And I'll drop that link in the comments.
Yeah, like I said, I need to refresh my memory a little bit because I definitely remember hearing about Happy specifically. And I seem to remember a lot of social media shilling of it when it launched, which is probably why I didn't look at it further. I will say that I really like how their website is designed. It's just very aesthetically pleasing to look at.
Okay.
Without looking into anything meaningful, the design is pleasing to my eye. It sparks joy.
Now take my money.
So underneath the page that says token utility, which first of all, it's cool that they have that as a page. I'm less enthusiastic about the contents of the page because none of it has anything to do with utility. You can stake it. They burn some of it. Okay, that tells me nothing, actually. That's a swing and a miss, Happy.
Yeah. They've burned some of it. They've staked some of it. They're building a game.
Their Twitter bio says Happy brings together several products, projects, and teams whose mission is to develop and implement new cybersecurity standards in the Web3 industry. Cool.
God.
I learned we need normalize telling me something helpful in your bio, because that didn't tell me anything. Let's read the about us. Okay, team is public. That's a good sign. They got a lot of stuff. They definitely have a significant number of partners, whatever that means. I do like that they are partnered with DEX tools, Gecko Terminal, and Chainalysis, which just means that those websites index their token. So we got to start saying that, Evan, that we are official TikTok partners. We are Facebook and Instagram partners. I'm a Google partner. I'm an Amazon partner. I'm a USAA partner.
Oh, definitely.
So just for a little context on my initial impression of this, whenever I help someone reword their website to try to be more appealing, I always say you got to put yourself in the position of someone who's going to come to your website and give you a few seconds to hook them. And then if you can hook them, another couple, maybe a minute or two to get the important information. And they might click around abstractly. So make sure that it's really easy to navigate. It's easy to get from one place to another. It's easy to get back to where you're going. So this website is easy to navigate. However, I'm skipping around trying to find something that tells me, one, what they actually do, and two, why the cryptocurrency is necessary. And I haven't gotten any of that. I've just gotten that you should secure everything you have with Happy tools. It's the essential second layer of Web3 security, providing unrestricted business and user-centric scope of cybersecurity solutions. What?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's buzzy. I don't know what the token price is. I don't know what it's done or what it's doing. Like I said, the website is designed by someone who very clearly knows what they're doing and did a phenomenal job putting this together. It's beautiful. It's very well made. And apparently there's lots of users and there's lots of investigations. So is it an audit firm? Is it
I feel if I remember correctly, that was the one where users buy tokens and they can stake it. And it covers when there are audits or hacks, they get something it's a collective bounty program maybe, or at one point it was that's what I seem to remember. And I'm totally talking out of my face hole here.
No. You might be right. That
what
sounds
I'm talking like a ZaxBT style. We back people who do that kind of thing, or earn when they earn, or almost like insurance, I think.
I just
paved with buzzwords. Scripture says, yeah, totally. 100%. And I'm looking. I said I'd do this before I run away. I'm looking into C miner while Alex is finishing this up. Confirm for me that it's chain miner. That's what you're talking about, chain miner. Token ticker is C, miner with an E.
Yeah, So just to wrap up on Happy here, beautiful website. I wish that it told me something helpful because I still don't know what it does. There's a whole page dedicated to token utility that doesn't have anything to do with token utility. It just has to do with the fact that there's a staking program. So I guess that's the only utility that the token has is you can stake it. So, if your token's utility is you can get more of our token using our token, I don't give a shit. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I would need to read probably more from somewhere else. I would have to get someone else to tell me what happy is, because
Yeah,
they're
we
they
might put
can't.
it in the newsletter and ask you guys to tell us what you like or don't like about it. Um, okay, so Chain Miner appears to be one in a series of kind of cryptocurrency solutions to make mining more accessible to all people.
Mhm.
And their website says powering the future of crypto mining. Join the forefront of cryptocurrency mining with our innovative token system, dedicated mining pools, and comprehensive rental services. So honestly, as somebody who's been here a minute without even really necessarily looking deeper, I can pretty much guarantee, Alex, right, that this is like a buy our token to access a mining pool, stake it in the different pool. You want to mine, I don't know, Bitcoin, put it in this pool. You want to mine Ether, put it in this pool, kind of thing. Is almost certainly what I bet it's going to be. They might have NFT integrations. It says they've got direct rewards, weekly payouts, reward dashboard. You must hold at least, there's a minimum threshold, 15,000 C miner tokens to participate. The current price of the token is 3 cents. So we're talking 1, 2, 3. That's $30 times 15 is you're looking at $450 right now to participate. Not bad when you compare that to the cost of like Bitcoin mining software. But the question is, how much does that get you? I would be curious to know what the APYs look like, what the APR looks like, and I would want to look deeper into the tokenomics to see like if demand, what's the total value locked? Because a miner is only as good as it's like how much energy and power and are they contributing, right? What do you think? Is
Yeah,
that what you were
I'm just. I think that all of us should be like hyper skeptical of any protocol whose like proposed functionality is just staking, because we all remember what just Syncus is like so fresh.
Yeah.
And that's what Syncus's claim to fame was, that you could like stake this thing and you could lock it up and you could earn more of it and whatever. And early holders were going to be rewarded. And it was a total pyramid scheme and, excuse me, a Ponzi scheme, different. And I mean, anything whose only purpose or only like utility and only function is that you can stake it and earn more of it and you can lock it up to earn extra. It's just Ponzi-nomics. And
I
like
don't know though. This I would look further at this if I was into mining because they also talk about renting rigs, group mining.
okay.
I mean, it sounds like my impression is it's a pretty thoughtful approach to mining as a service. And if what CryptTruth says is right, that they use proof of stake for everybody, then it looks like there might be. I'm getting the impression, I'd have to dig deeper, that this is the platform brings everyone together and takes a cut for facilitating, but that everybody who participates, including the people who give you their equipment, are staking something. Like in Ether, if you're running a node, you got to put up 32 ETH. There is an incentive for you not to slash the network because you're going to lose that money. And so far, it's proven to be like a pretty strong incentive. I would look further because that would be my question. What's the incentive?
Yeah, I will clarify that I agree with, but there's so many other things that ETH can be used for. What I'm saying is like with Syncus specifically, there's nothing else you can do with this thing except stake it to earn more, and it's like a game of chicken. To like who's going to sell when, and can we all mistime our sales so that we all walk away with money, which is impossible. So with Ethereum, then totally, right? Because there's like so many reasons for the demand of that thing to be what it is, because a lot of stuff uses it, needs it. People are out there buying it literally because they have to have it so that they can do stuff. You know, like that's very different. So if this one is, like letting people who want to participate in mining and, get a little piece of that action or whatever, do it via a token, and then you can also stake it to help, secure that network or do whatever, that's a totally different story. And not the same thing as a Syncus type Ponzi scheme at all. For sure.
Yeah, and it looks like they only have about 2,000 followers on Twitter. I'm having a hard time learning much about the tokenomics from looking at, CoinMarketCap tells me they've got, there's 100 million self-reported circulating supply. It's got a couple of yellow flags on CoinMarketCap, which I'm using. I would usually look at it in CoinGecko, but my computer's a little slow today for that for some reason. The chain miner team, has not verified the project's circulating supply. Its self-reported circulating supply is 100 million, with a self-reported market cap of 3 million. So, it's pretty small. To give you an idea, the leading mining operations are billion-dollar companies. They're big, billions of dollar companies. And so I would be interested to see more statistics that were verifiable. It looks like this might be a little bit new, but maybe that's a good opportunity to, if you're into it, Crypt Truth, maybe you could test it out. It doesn't appear to be an obvious scam, but those are the kind of questions you'd be asking for sure. Like, what's the token doing? How are they verifying, and how are they incentivizing people to, be honest? Well, how do you know it's not gonna, Oh my gosh, it's Tatiana. Is this the real Tatiana? Oh, Tatiana, I have to go. I'm so sorry to say. We were just looking at a token called C Miner. Like, I'm a crypto miner, not like the key of C Minor. With an E, not an O. I am just so glad that you're here. We looked at Happy. We looked at... we went all over the place today. And I'll tell you what, we started the conversation with a great back and forth about the importance of telling a better story by holding influencers who break the law accountable. We have got to do a better job of letting people know what they're legally allowed to do, and encouraging them to follow that with our attention. I'm sure you would have something articulate and wonderful to say about it, and we'd love to have you do it. Come back with Soul Chat tomorrow, Alex. If you have time to stick around, maybe you could do Soul Chat. But Tatiana, I just am so glad you're here.
It's all good. Like, maybe you missed it. We did lightly touch on Soul Chat and kind of the whole like Solana utility thing earlier, and just that, like, just look for a product that people actually want to use, because the Solana utility narrative got a lot of steam, and then like Soul whatever became a trend, and then it birthed a lot of scams. There's like a couple that are like doing stuff like Soul Mail, Soul GPT, Soul Chat was one of those that's like actually trying to build a product. Whether or not it's a good product or anyone wants to use it is a different story. So that's what I would look at for stuff like Chat, Mail, GPT, all those Soul utilities, is just like follow and try to discern if they actually have any users using the thing and doing stuff. That's
we can look at it together another day. Come back and let's look at it. We absolutely will. My cursory glance, it looks like they're really new. They haven't even launched their app yet. And it looks like what I'd be concerned about is they sold a token, launched a token as like the fundraising mechanism to do all these things. They're listed, they're prioritizing that over everybody on base right now is just throwing up a frame. And then if Jesse Pollock retweets it and you get 100,000 views, that is what leads you to, mint a collectible on Zora, and then people raise 5 ETH for you, and then you take it to the next level. And you've already got, 100,000 uses before you've even raised any money. How much more are you going to do than somebody who comes to a VC and says, I've got an AI RWA gaming DeSci pin project. We haven't raised any users yet, but we'd like you to help us get some money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Putting people, that's where the proof is.
100% agreed.
Okay, what's your final thought, good joke, word of wisdom before we take our pony show on the road?
Thanks for letting me blitz you this morning with a soapbox that you weren't prepared for. Not that you needed to be prepared for.
Now. We're gonna do a picture of me as white Jesus and a picture of you as like cool tattooed whatever Jesus with some demon horns flipping a table.
Yeah.
And the token will be water token, and you can stake it to earn wine token. That's it.
Yeah, that video from Mac was really funny. I agree.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you're not following our friend Tatiana in the chat, what are you doing with your life? Alex, thanks for having the kind of show where we can talk about those. I appreciate that you would trust me to have that conversation with, and I think everyone in the chat supports you in choosing violence today.
It's that kind of day.
Well, then may it be a safe day. Christina, I'm praying for you. I'm just kidding. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Alex, and I are here every day, Monday through Thursday, Tatiana, at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and would love to have you here for helpful news, commentary, and answers to your crypto questions. Visit theriseupmorningshow.com to check out the newsletter, the YouTube, send us an email with your crypto question, and join us again tomorrow. We will see you then, and until then, my friends,